A young girl named Lily walked into the classroom 20 minutes late, her uniform covered in dark stains and smelling strongly of rotten food. The teacher, Mrs. Higgins, slammed her textbook onto her desk and shouted, "Lily, you are late again, and the smell is unbearable. Do you have no respect for this school? Get out and stand in the hallway." The other students in the class immediately burst into laughter. They pinched their noses, pointed at her, and whispered cruel jokes. Lily didn't say a word. She just looked down at her worn-out shoes, fighting back tears, and silently walked out the door. This happened almost every single day. Lily was always exhausted, always dirty, and her grades were slipping. Mrs. Higgins was furious and decided she had enough. She planned to follow Lily after school to confront her parents about their daughter's lack of hygiene. When the bell rang, Mrs. Higgins watched from a distance as Lily left the school grounds. However, the girl didn't walk toward the residential area. Instead, she walked toward the edge of the city. Mrs. Higgins followed quietly. She watched in shock as Lily stopped at a massive, dirty landfill site. Without hesitating, the little girl pulled out a large sack and began digging through piles of sharp metal and glass, looking for recyclable plastic bottles. Mrs. Higgins hid behind a tree and watched for over 2 hours. Lily worked under the hot sun until her sack was full. She took the plastic to a recycling center, where a man handed her a few coins. Immediately, Lily ran to a nearby street vendor, bought a small bowl of hot soup, and rushed into a crumbling, abandoned shed nearby. Mrs. Higgins crept closer and peered through a crack in the wooden wall. She saw Lily carefully feeding the soup to a very old bedridden woman who couldn't move her hands. Confused, Mrs. Higgins turned to a neighbor who was passing by and asked, "Excuse me, where are that girl's parents?" The neighbor shook his head sadly. "Oh, poor Lily. Her parents died in a fire 2 years ago. She lives there alone with her great-grandmother, who is paralyzed. That little girl works in the trash heaps every day, just to buy medicine and food for the old woman. She has no one else." Mrs. Higgins felt a wave of shame wash over her. She fell to her knees, crying over how she had treated the child. The next day at school, Lily walked in late again, smelling of the landfill. The students started to giggle and mock her, waiting for the teacher to yell. But suddenly, Mrs. Higgins slammed her hand on the desk and shouted, "Quiet! Anyone who laughs will be detained." The room went silent. Mrs. Higgins walked over to Lily and gently placed a warm coat over her shoulders. "Go to your seat, Lily," she said softly. When Lily sat down, she gasped. On her desk was a massive bundle of money and a new backpack. She looked around in shock. "Why?" Lily whispered, tears streaming down her face. Mrs. Higgins smiled with tears in her eyes. "I told the class how brave you are. We all chipped in. This is for you and your grandmother." The whole class stood up and cheered, and for the first time, Lily smiled.